History repeats, the old fascism versus today's political climate. Fascism, at its core, is a far-right authoritarian ideology that prioritizes ultranationalism, the belief that one's nation is inherently superior, a strong leader cult, a single charismatic leader who embodies the state, militarization and law and order politics, a focus on strength and suppressing dissent, control of media and propaganda, shaping the public's reality through manipulation, the vilification of enemies, whether it's ethnic minorities, political dissidents, or the press. Fascist movements thrive on division. Now let's compare these traits to today's political climate in the US. A defining feature of fascism is the glorification of a single leader, someone portrayed as the only one who can fix the nation's problems. Mussolini called himself Il Duce, the leader. Hitler was known as Der Führer, merging his identity with the state itself. Now look at modern US politics. We see a similar trend: leaders who claim to be the only ones who can restore order, who portray opposition as enemies of the state, and whose followers develop near religious devotion. When a leader becomes more important than the democratic system itself, history warns us that democracy is at risk. Fascist movements thrive on us versus them rhetoric. In Nazi Germany, it was Jews and communists. In Mussolini's Italy, it was socialists and foreign influences. Today, in the US, there's a growing trend of labeling political opponents as unpatriotic, traitors, or even domestic terrorists. The idea that some citizens are more American than others is a dangerous precedent, one that history has shown can escalate quickly. One of the earliest signs of fascism is the demonization of the free press. Fascists need control over the narrative, so they attack the credibility of independent journalism. Mussolini shut down newspapers that opposed him. Hitler had Goebbels create a propaganda machine that controlled all information. Now, in the United States, trust in the media is at an all-time low, fueled by political figures calling journalism the enemy of the people. The more people distrust independent reporting, the easier it becomes for authoritarian leaders to shape reality to their will. Fascism often involves the blurring of military and civilian life. In the 1930s, Mussolini's black shirts and Hitler's brown shirts used violence to silence opposition. Today, in the United States, we see the normalization of militia groups, political violence, and an increasing acceptance of force in politics. When leaders encourage followers to stand by or suggest that elections can only be trusted if they win, democracy enters dangerous territory. A hallmark of fascism is expanding executive power while eroding institutions, restricting voting rights, weakening the courts, expanding surveillance on political opposition, and of course using fear to justify extreme measures. Whether it's crime, immigration, or political unrest, fear becomes the tool to strip away rights in the name of security. But history tells us, once rights are lost, they rarely return without a fight. Now let's be clear, America is not Nazi Germany or Mussolini's Italy. But history warns us that no country is immune to authoritarianism. The real question is, are we allowing democracy to erode, one step at a time? Fascism rarely arrives overnight. It creeps in, disguised as patriotism, law and order, and protecting the people from a manufactured threat. The good news, democracy isn't dead unless we let it die. Stay informed. Don't just consume partisan news. Speak up. Silence enables extremism. Vote. Even when it feels hopeless, participation matters. Reject violence as a political tool. No matter the side, democracy cannot survive when power is won through force. The greatest lesson of history is that nothing is inevitable. If we recognize the warning signs early, we can stop history from rhyming with its darkest chapters. If you found this video insightful, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe for more deep dives into history, politics, and society. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. What do you think? Are we seeing early warning signs, or is this just politics as usual?